Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat ng Sabado. Muli po ang programang Kwentong Bayani, alas 10 hanggang alas 11. Mula po sa DCXL, ayan, hatid po sa inyo ng RMN at ng BCYF, Radyo Jenny Pahilaga. At syempre kasama natin ngayon ang aking partner, Jojo Armenta. Partner, magandang umaga.
Good morning, partner Jenny, at sa ating mga nakikinig sa RMN DCXL 558, also sa Facebook at YouTube, live na live po tayo ngayong umaga. Good morning po sa ating lahat.
At nako, last Saturday napakaganda ating mga pinag-usapan, partner, talaga namang marami tayong natutunan at inspirasyon, at ngayon panibago na naman na ating ibabahagi sa ating mga nakikinig. Pero bago yan, gusto natin silang imbitahan, tutok po kayo sa RMN DCXL 558 Manila, i-like at i-share niyo po yung aming Facebook page at sa ating YouTube channel DCXL 558.
Yes, nako, at alam mo nga, partner Jenny, since June month is the media month ng Benita and Catalina Foundation, no, we are trying to invite guests, no, to talk about how can we use social media or the media to create social impact and to encourage people na maging social responsible sa paggamit ng mga channel and platforms na ito.
Tama yan. Ako, napakaganda ng ng napili na yan na ating i-feature, no, ibabahagi sa kanila ang month of June. But for today, partner, Sabado na naman, sabi nga isa na namang magandang pag-uusapan pa rin natin ay tungkol pa rin syempre sa mga nangyayari sa ating paligid na magbibigay sa kanila ng mga payo at inspirasyon. Tama?
Oo, dahil alam mo naman, partner Jenny, 'di ba, naging big issue ang social media sa nakaraang eleksyon.
Yeah.
Diba? Napakadaming isyong nagre-revolve dyan na kailangan nating maging high ulit yung spirit natin in using it wisely.
Correct.
And magamit natin ito sa kabutihan. Kailangan natin ng mga inspirational wisdom from different people na I would say naging expert na rin, no? Or magkaroon tayo ng motivation to use this socially as a social responsible person or Filipino. So ngayon, ang ating mga guests for this morning, I know they've been also very, very active in social media. That's why I invited them, no? And I think they can inspire us on how we can use this to create social impact. So pakilala ko na, partner Jenny, ang ating mga panauhin sa umagang ito. Okay, our first guest actually is hindi na siya bago sa PCYF. He's part of the family for so long. I've been working with him in PCYF for so many years already. He's an assistant professor from the Department of Management and Organization in Ramon B. Del Rosario College of Business and De La Salle University, and serves as a vice chair of the department. He's also the head of the Social Enterprise Network of the Center for Business Research and Development. Also, Catholic Mass Media Award recognized his column titled Social Entrepreneurship as a Solution to the Drug Problem as the best business column. So hindi ko alam to, na writer na din pala siya, no?
Wow.
He's a young person who is really passionate in creating a difference in the society. Let us all welcome our first guest, Patch Aure.
Thank you,
Hi,
Jojo.
Patch. Good morning.
Hello, good
Patch.
morning. Magandang umaga.
Hi, Sir Patch. Good morning.
Good morning po, Ma'am Jenny.
Yeah.
Ayan. So, pakilala ko ang ating second guest for this morning. Our second guest is the country's top-ranked corporate trainee on leadership and people skills. President and Chief Equipping Officer of the Breakthrough Leadership Management Consultancy, the author of the two well-received books, Practical Wisdom to be Happy at Work, and Project Purpose, Find Your Why to Find Your Way. The founder of Project Purpose Incorporated and top 3 Filipino content creators on LinkedIn in 2021. Ang ating pong pangalawang panauhin sa umagang ito ay si Mr. Boris Joaquin. Good morning, Sir Boris.
Hello, magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. Thank you for having me, Jojo, Jenny.
Good morning,
It's
sir.
it's a delight for me to be here.
Wow, it's our
Yan.
pleasure. It's our pleasure. Okay, partner, sige, umpisahan ko na. Ayan, Sir
Sure.
Patch and Sir Boris, what a great and beautiful morning po. Nakasama namin kayo sa Kwentong Bayani. Eto na yung una naming tanong. Nako, eto po. At hindi pa, marami pa nito, partner Jojo, nandito pa rin sa ganitong usapin nga hanggang ngayon dahil alam natin mainit pa. Eto po, ano sa tingin ninyo, Sir Patch and Sir Boris, ang naging vital role ng social media during the pre and the post elections. Sir Patch muna po, sir. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much po. Siguro i-qualify ko na muna yung mga karanasan ko dahil mas nakapokus ako sa pagtuturo ng management and organization sa department sa university.
Okay.
So yung mga nakikita ko, yung mga reaction ng mga estudyante ko saka ng mga colleagues ko, and some of the more expert professors that we have in the university. So I would like to frame it in two ways. No, from a positive perspective, I think social media. Well, I'm mostly exposed to Facebook. At best, it becomes a platform for discourse. Na at least nagkakaroon ng pagkakataon na mag-usap-usap yung ibang mga tao, and at least try to validate whether their understanding of an issue or a candidate is good or incorrect. But as you have witnessed from a negative perspective, social media can be a natural platform for breeding echo chambers. So kapag nag-nilay, for example, yung mga nakikita kong reaction ng mga estudyante ko o kaya ng mga iba kong kasama, kapag merong mga pananaw na pwedeng taliwas dun sa una nilang pananaw, they naturally want to unfriend, block, or unfollow that person. So siya parang double-edged sword na pwede siya maging platform for discourse, but the natural reaction of people, kung hindi man iiwas, minsan nagiging online bardagulan, di ba? Instead of embracing the Filipino culture na, makiramdam tayo kung ano yung pananaw ng kasama natin. Minsan nagiging platform yung social media na magkaroon ng trash talk or bardagulan sa pag-spread ng memes or pag-comment. So, may good thing and bad thing, and yun yung sanang mas pag-usapan din natin paano kaya natin gagamit yung social media na given na dalawa yung yung maraming positive and negative things. So how do we frame it towards a better country society?
Yes, thank you, Sir Patch. Sir Boris?
Yeah.
All right.
Opo. Yes, sir. Go ahead
Okay,
po.
sorry. You want me to answer na? Yeah, I totally agree with Patch. I want to say that that social media actually became the main channel when it comes to influencing social opinion. And rather than looking at it as a lot of people could blame it for being the source of disinformation and spreading fake news and all that. What it is really, it's just a platform. And what it does is that it amplified whatever social norm or social opinion we may have. I think the same is true when texting, SMS sending. Yun yung uso, di ba? And then it was utilized to mobilize movements and all that. And the same is true, being a behavioral observer, because that's my work. And people's behavior has not really changed. So some people might argue and say that social media shaped the minds of people. That's probably true to a certain degree and a certain percentage. Pero kung isipin natin, baka naman ganun na talaga yung mindset. Except that this time, it has amplified it. Before, ang maingay yung traditional media, but now we have influencers, micro-influencers, I don't know what else you call people like us. I think nagkakaroon na ng mga categories, right? But the thing is, we do have our circle of influences, and that has become a tool and a platform, not just for those who have access, but basically anybody who can afford this, because it's basically for free, di ba? So nakakatuwa lang obserbahan yon, and then leveraging on what Patch said, maybe we should learn how to use it more, because and this is something that one of the candidates mentioned, parang on hindsight, parang in retrospect, parang if you ignore it and neglect it, and then that's probably going to be a main source of kumbaga irritation or discontent, because you never paid attention to what you see on social media, because you've always treated it as social media lang yan. But people actually refer to it as a source for information.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you.
I totally agree with that,
Oo.
no? Kasi as a young person who also observed, I agree with Patch na naging two-way siya talaga nung panahon ng mag-e-election. And even after, at the moment, no, we're still seeing a lot of discourses. And I hope na yung mga na-unfriend ay ma-friend na ulit. Mapupunta ulit sa friend zone after
Correct.
the election. It can be a way for us to have a good relationship and good
Yes.
harmony again.
That's true.
So, itong second question po, kasi Benita and Catalina Foundation is advocating for citizenship and social responsibility. Paano naman natin magagamit ang social media to encourage people to advocate or, to practice citizenship and social responsibility? Si Sir Boris muna. Sige po.
Sige, well, that's a wonderful initiative. Now that we've realized the power of social media and how it can influence people, we know that it can educate, it can inform, it can also equip. Diba, to a certain extent, pwede siyang magbigay ng mga kaalaman at mga skills na pwede natin gamitin. One thing that we've noticed also, this generation, yung generation mo yata, Jenny and si Patch, I'm not really sure kung magka-generation kami kung magka-generation kami ni Jenny, si Jojo, at si Patch. But the younger ones, at least my kids, I have a 21-year-old daughter, they're more aware than let's say my generation when I was younger. So their eyes are more open and they're exposed to a lot of initiatives. If napansin niyo pag binagyo tayo or may kalamidad, ang bilis, 'di ba, ng mobilization. I'm an advocate for Save the Children, and I know that ang bilis ngayon mag-raise ng funds as compared to before. So when it comes to social responsibility and even, let's say, fostering the concept and the values of citizenship, I think we can do that. And I think Facebook, for example, and not really knowing what the other platforms are doing, I think they're very conscious of, let's say, culture, contextualizing, groupings, and even yung what do you call this? Even the language. They want to make sure that if you're Filipino, you have the option to use Filipino as a language and not any other language. And I think that's fostering identity, so to speak. Naalala ko may live stream show kasi kami sa I don't know if I could mention another media outfit. And kapag nag-i-English ako, biglang may hirit Tagalog na lang, kami lang naman nakikinig dito. So and I told my producer, that's actually correct. Mag-Tagalog na lang tayo. Let's not let's use it to foster the identity and build the Filipino language all the more.
Correct. Thank you for that, Sir Boris. How about you, Patch?
Maganda yung sinabi ni Sir Boris kanina. I wanted to echo that, yung sinabi niya na amplifying what's already present in the culture maybe of our society and the sentiments of our countrymen. Siguro medyo tinamaan ako nun since nasa academe ako ngayon. Kasi ibig sabihin kulang pa ba yung nagawa namin kung paano kami magturo na na-amplify lang kung ano yung mga pareha siguro maganda at mali, pero parang minsan mas na-amplify yung wrong behavior or wrong sentiments or wrong means to approach. And taking off from that point, I realized na siguro yung halaga ng education ngayon. More than, diba kasi dati pag education, nagtuturo ka ng facts or nagtuturo ka na ng something to memorize. Pero ngayon siguro dapat mas may presence ang any educational institution to really equip students to think critically. Kasi lagi rin naman nandyan ang mga estudyante, mapag-grade school or high school or college. So baka dapat akayin natin sila. Baka yun yung dapat na role ng education sa social media. And in terms of other efforts, I really admire how social media could coordinate volunteer efforts. Kasi di ba isa sa mga kahinaan ng volunteer efforts, lalo na pagka-organic, mahirap siya i-coordinate sa lalo na kung iba't ibang lugar. So dahil sa social media, at least pwede mag-teleport yung mga tao sa napupunta sa digital space, or at least it makes it easier for people to contribute kung ano man yung makakontribute nila depende sa resource na meron sila. Tapos siguro yung last na gusto kong sabihin, kailangan natin ding isipin na yung kung paano na-design yung social media, its structure, mas conducive siya for impulsive reactions.
Oo.
Kumbaga napakadali mag-like,
Oo.
react, comment, share, or retweet, whatever social media platform it is. Pero hindi pa ako masyado nakakita ng social media na yung pinapatigil mo na yung tao na huwag ka muna mag-engage. Pag-isipan mo kung totoo ba talaga yung nakikita mo or hindi. So siguro yun yung dapat natin pag-isipan kung paano natin kino-consume din yung social media. And maybe that's the role of educators na social media may be designed primarily for advertisers, for profit-generating activities, pero it might not be necessarily conducive for citizenship. So yun yung dapat aware tayo. Kundi baka mamaya, di natin alam, tayo mismo nagiging trolls na pala kasi di na natin nag-iisipan kung ano yung pinagre-reactan natin.
Tama yun. Totoo yun, no? Diba, Sir Patch? Partner, Sir Boris. Minsan tayo react lang ng react, hindi natin alam. Anyway, eto po, balik ulit sa'yo, Sir Patch, no? Ito ngayon, ano po ang inyong assessment o inyo pong masasabi maipapayo, no? Na dapat na gawin nating pagkakaisa, no? Sa kabilang po ng anuman ang magiging kahinatnan po ng ating ito pagboto, itong eleksyon ng ating mga natin po, lahat sa ating bayan. Ano pong inyong maibibigay sa amin na payo o pananalita po dyan?
And siguro medyo ibabahagi ko na rin yung mga naranasan ko rin nung actual election week. So swerte ko sa university kasi nung election week din kami, school break din kami. Tapos akala ko noon sa wakas pwede magpahinga. Yung pala hindi ko akalain na yung resulta pala ng magiging election o kung paano na nangyari lahat, yung makakaramdam ka rin pala ng anxieties talaga. So may pre-election anxiety, tapos during elections, hindi mo pa alam kung ano nangyayari, tapos after elections, makakita ka ng mga tao na nagbabangayan na naman, ganyan.
Totoo yan.
Diba? Ang hirap eh. So siguro yung una, yung namnamin muna natin na hindi, talagang ito yung nangyari. Tapos, di natin dapat invalidate yung mga naramdaman natin. Na if we're feeling anxious, if we don't think our mental health or whole well-being is not doing that well, pause, take a break. Kung kailangan mag-detox, okay lang din.
Correct.
Kasi kailangan din natin pansinin yung mga bagay na yun. Tapos, siguro pagka medyo nakahinga na ng konti, tapos nagkakaroon na uli ng pag-asa kung ano yung next steps na pwedeng gawin bilang isang tao. Saka natin alamin yung talagang suriin natin din yung sarili natin na kasi ang napansin ko sa social media, kahit anong kampo ba yan, puro kontra doon sa kabila. Pero pag kami mga tao na gustong sabihin natin mag-engage in critical thinking, kahit meron silang sinasabing punto na baka critical dun sa kakampi nila, pinapatahimik din kagad. So baka naman di natin namamalayan nga na miski tayo na yung pumipigil dun sa mga kakampi natin na mas mag-isip kasi may gusto tayong kandidato na manalo. So siguro yung last point na gusto kong i-share, nung medyo nakahinga-hinga na rin ako, tapos bilang tao sa academe, pinay ko din mag-research. Ano ba yung sinasabi ng mga peer-reviewed articles kung paano tumatakbo yung demokrasya natin? So, yung isa sa mga sinabi nila, yung importante daw yung consent ng minority. So, two ways siguro. From the consent of the minority, we have to accept whatever the results would be. Kung di man natin sinuportahan kung sino yung nanalo, hindi yun ibig sabihin na tapos na yung pagiging Pilipino natin. Now, we need to be superordinate citizens. Meaning, hindi tayo napipigil dun sa partido o kaya dun sa kandidato na gusto natin. Tapos lahat naman tayo Pilipino. Yun yung pangalawa. Ay, yun yung una. Yung pangalawa, para naman dun sa mga suporta sa mga nanalo. Hindi to, parang analogy ko, hindi to parang NBA playoffs na pagka game 7 na nanalo na yung favorite team mo, magsasaya ka tapos na. Hindi. Dapat tuloy na irespeto mo rin kung yung gusto nung minority para pagka nagsama-sama, hindi na about the majority, the minority, whatever colors it may be. Pero tayo mga Pilipino yung nagtutulungan, and that could be how social media could be an instrument for authentic citizenship.
Correct. Ang tawag doon partner, Sir Boris, Sir Patch, kunin ko yung salita mo, Sir Patch, election anxiety, no? Nagkaroon ng ganon ang lahat. Diba, partner?
Totoo yan. Sir Boris, what can you say? Like, how can we, well, I think you're still young, sir, no? You're still considered as young at heart.
Yes!
How can you,
I love you.
how can you encourage naman yung mga tao to use social media responsibly, no? Despite what happened in the election?
Yeah, you know what? I think if there's one thing that we've learned in the last 7 months is that social media is a platform that you invest in. Kumbaga, di ba, yung natutunan natin hindi kayang baguhin yung isang pag-iisip with a limited period of time. I have a marketing mindset, marketing background ko before I got before I became a corporate educator. So yung isa sa natutunan namin is we plant seeds, di ba? Kaya nga yung commercial, paulit-ulit, di ba? So ganun din social media. Every video that you produce, everything that you post, every cut by cut, it actually plants a seed in the minds of people who watch it.
Correct.
And especially if there are millions of people watching it. So as educators, we need to learn how to utilize that platform in a very consistent way. Kung meron tayong gusto iturong values like citizenship and social responsibility, we do that on a regular basis. Let's not stop. Consistency becomes key. And I guess we just realized that some of the winning candidates this past election is because they've been working on that quite frequently over the past few years. And you cannot offset that just because you decided to have this movement on a particular period of time.
Correct.
And that's disheartening for some. Pero we need to learn from that and then try to see how can we now take it seriously. And I think we have a role, si Patch, ako, and then kayong dalawa, especially media people and the
Yes.
traditional media to begin with. How do we do that? How do we now parang speak to people in a very with our positive messages in that way? So that's one. Parang let's not shut it down. Let's not dismiss it. Let's use it because that's what it is for. And other people do take advantage of it. Unfortunately, not for good reasons. The other one is something about empathy. And siguro ang opinion ko lang about social media, it's been created to build connection. Kung napanood niyo yung pelikula na Social Network, di ba? It's the founder's desire to connect, and that's why it was created. But it does not replace yung ability natin to empathize. And Patch was talking about critical thinking, but empathy is another thing because empathy is choosing to respond, not react. And social media forces you to react. And I think kaya din in hot water sa Facebook,
Oo,
di ba?
iba na
In the US, because they're cultivating that. Their algorithm is trying to heat it up ng konti.
Correct.
But as human beings, we are given this prefrontal cortex. So mag-isip naman tayo ng konti. Before you do this or
Yes.
assume this, baka naman, tao siya. Tao yung kausap mo. Hopefully, hindi troll. Kung tao yung kausap mo, meron pa yung feelings at ma-hurt siya pag ginawa mo to. And may pinanggagalingan siya kaya niya sinasabi to. So, medyo empathize ng konti and think a little bit and then choose to respond rather than react.
I love that. Totoo yun. Kasi ginawa tong social media, di ba, Sir Patch, partner, Sir Boris, to connect eh. Bakit parang iba ngayon ang di ba, partner, datingan?
Yes, Tapos yung sinabi ni Sir Boris na choose to respond, not to react. Kasi yung mga tao, pagka nag-emoji yan ng anger, iba na yung dating. Pagka nag-emoji yan ng heart, and then you disagree totally with the post, iba na yung dating.
Correct.
But if you encourage them to like, hey, usap tayo, diba? Like, hey, let's discuss, productive discussion. Rather than reacting, whatever. So, kaya doon nag-start yung negative, yung sabi nga ng mga candidates na negative campaigning. Nagiging negative campaigning siya because of those reactions, nagigain ng mga post statements. And kaya it's very important na we think first, we really think first. Let's pray for wisdom, before we really post something.
Correct.
Ayun, kaya napaka-importante na may ganito tayong discussion about that.
Pero partner, Sir Patch, Sir Boris, napakainit na ating pag-uusap ngayon, pero magbe-break muna tayo ng kaunti at pagbabalik natin, partner, yung isa mo pang napakagandang tanong dyan for Sir Patch and Sir Boris. Mga kasama, tutok po RMN DZXL 558 Manila, i-like at i-share nila yan, partner Jojo, sa YouTube po, channel DZXL 558. Huwag po kayong aalis, magbabalik po agad ang programang
Kwentong Bayani.
Balik po tayo, oras natin, 31 minuto na po makalipas, 10:00 ng umaga. Kasama pa rin niyo, partner niyo po nga mga Kwentong Bayani, ayan, host po, Radyo Jenny at partner Jojo, balik tayo.
Yes, good morning po muli sa ating mga nakikinig ngayong umagang ito. Pag-uusapan nga po natin, how can we use social media and media to create social impact and to advocate for social responsibility. Ngayon yung question ko, partner Jenny, mahalagang pag-usapan yung about fake news, no, mai-add ko lang, no, sa ating mga guests for this morning, in your own personal experience, how were you able to debunk and avoid fake news and spreading fake news noong mga nagdaang months and after election? Sir Boris, tumatawa ka, ikaw muna, Sir Boris.
Well, admittedly, di ba, ang nakakatamad naman talagang mag-research. Parang kasi, to begin with, I don't buy the printed newspaper anymore. Di ba dati, every morning, pag nagkakape ka, nagbukas ka ng newspaper. Ngayon, hindi na. Every morning nagkakape ka, pero yung news mo nandito. So, you're browsing through and you're reading your morning news there. And that became a habit. So kung ganun yung habit mo, kung ano yung nasa timeline mo, yun ang makikita mo, di ba? And we actually have the power of choice. That's one thing. So I think one of the things that we need to do is choose correctly our sources of information. Tapos yun yung regular mong tingnan or i-like or i-follow. Kasi yung automatic na lalabas sa timeline mo kung tinatamad ka na mag-research. Pero yun nga, the second rule is medyo maging critical thinkers naman tayo, sabi nga ni Patch kanina. Kasi don't believe everything that you read. Sometimes di ba, may nag-repost lang or may nag-comment lang tapos umuulit, di ba? Kunwari sabi, walang pasok ngayon. Pero 2018 pa pala yung post na yun. So hindi ka mag-BS kasi walang pasok. Yun na nabasa mo. Hindi ka nagbasa mabuti kasi so read carefully and then be critical lang, pause lang ng konti, ibangga mo sa isang source pa kung tama, yung mga ganun tipo. Ganun kasimple lang. And then tingnan mo kung valid yung, kunwari minsan ang medyo weird yung mga statements, di ba? Delikado rin kasi mag-click ng link kasi it might steal your data, it violates your data privacy. So medyo exert ng konting critical thinking. Makatotohanan ba to? Tama ba to? Tama ba yung date nito? Totoo ba yung, does it make sense? Kasi minsan clickbait lang di ba? So tingin ka muna ng ibang sources mo, tapos kung nakita mo na nakita mo na DCXL, finiture niya na, o credible tong radio station na to. So I'll probably read it na and do that. And now that you've done that, parang kung may time ka pa naman to hold back, I mean, you don't share it immediately. I mean, have confirm that from a real person or real authority from your office, from your school, from other people who've read it before you form your own opinion. Kaya nga critical yung responding instead of reacting We when you respond, nag-pause ka muna na parang the tip is that I normally give to my seminars is PUR. Pause, understand, respond rather than react. So mag-pause ka muna. Pigilan na sarili mo. Gusto ko na mag-angry remark. Nakakainis ng post na to. Pause mo. Try to understand. Kagalit-galit ba talaga to?
Tapos, post, understand, and
respond. PUR. Parang pusa, di ba? Purr. And here's a good advice. Tao tayo hindi tayo hayop Mga hayop lang yung pag yung aso kinanti mo kakahol di ba? Pag yung pusa hinabol mo, ngingingaw whatever. We don't have to react all the time, and that's what distinguishes us from the animal kingdom. We have the choice to respond. So use that choice to be more human. Because we're not animals.
Galing. I love that, sir.
You are. How about you, Patch?
Ang ganda ng mga sinabi ni Sir Boris, talagang very applicable, very practical. So siguro yung ma-contribute ko siguro to add to that, from a mindset perspective, building on what Sir Boris said, I think the way we define critical thinking, siguro yung mas madali kong mag-define sa kanya, yun yung aktibong paghahanap ng ibang pananaw, actively seeking different perspectives or narratives more than what we initially understand. Kasi ang default ng tao, may paniniwalaan, tapos he or she will double down. Parang pag may kinampihan ka ng basketball team, para kahit anong gawin nun, wala nang mangyayari. Solid ka pa rin, di ba? Parang may ganun mga thinking. So, yung So in preparation in terms of the way we use social media, instead of always only seeking, reacting to things that confirm our views, seek different views. Tapos how did I do it in my own usage of social media? Yung siguro nakatulong sa akin bilang isang tao na nasa academe. Naturally, iba't ibang mga senior professors, mga talagang respectable, ang daming mga marami na sila man naituro, mga naisaliksik, na iba rin yung pananaw nila sa akin. So ang ginawa ko, imbis na hindi ko sila i-follow, mas pina-follow ko sila. Tapos minsan kahit may mga sinasabi sila na hindi ako agree, tapos admittedly hindi siya komportable, hindi convenient mag-isip hindi rin convenient makakita ng pananaw na kakaiba no sa una mong pananaw. Natanggap ko lang. Tapos pagka, tulad nga nasabi ni Sir Boris, pag may nakita ko na sinabi si ganitong professor na parang di agree, siya masasaktan na ako. Parang, tama pa ito sinasabi niya. Parang iba yung pananaw niya sa pananaw ko. Pero pause muna. Doon nagiging importante na tumigil ka muna. Kasi, di ba, the way social media is designed, endlessly scrolling, reacting, pero we need to reclaim our agency or our power na hindi tayo yung users You don't necessarily have to be mindlessly manipulated into reacting or consuming things. Sakto nun, mas nagkakaroon din ako ng mas holistic na perspective. Kaya mas nakakapagpausap din ako ng ibang mga tao. So, in addition to that, instead of unfriendly, katulad na sinabi ko kanina, or blocking other people, we should not mindlessly build our echo chambers. Kumbaga, sinabi kanina ni Sir Boris na maghanap ng iba't ibang mga reputable sources of info. Actively i-design na natin yung feed natin na maraming sources para hindi kagad tayo madadala ng kagad ng emosyon natin. Tapos yung pala, naging troll na tayo. So, dapat laging critical yung pag-approach natin even before we actually consume social media. We have designed it appropriately so that we have multiple sources of information reaching our minds and eyes.
Yes, very well said. Sir Patch, balik ko lang din po sa'yo, no? As an academe po, ano yung pinaka-role po ninyo, no? Of course, as assistant professor po from the De La Salle University, dito sa ating generation ngayon, ano? Kasi kami, ni Sir Boris, ni partner, iba, medyo na kami, ibang generation namin sa generation nyo. Sir, paano po ninyo sila mapapayuhan na maging responsable, no, sa paggamit ng social media?
Actually, ma'am, nakakatawa dyan. Feeling ko rin ang tanda ko na. Kasi yung mga, ngayon, mga college students ngayon, ibang generation na rin sila. Tapos may kanya-kanya na rin silang iba't ibang mga norms or mga linggo. So, siguro, una muna na, pinagdinilayan ko rin, ano ba yung pagkukulang ng academe? Or ano siguro yung mga practices ng academe or perspective na baka dapat ibahin na natin? Yung, una muna, when we look at standardized education, even in primary education, tinitrain natin yung bata na dapat unang sagot niya sa recitation tama. Tapos kapag nag-call ng recitation, tapos yung estudyante mali, pinapahiya. Or napapahiya siya, parang may ganung thinking. So, nahihiya na siya, tapos natatakot na siya magsalita. Or pagka natawag, di nakapag-aral, gagalingan niya kahit di siya nag-aral para magmukhang tunog na tama yung sinasabi niya, pero di naman talaga niya inaral. So, yung mga ganung pagkakataon, baka dapat ibahin na natin na hindi natin pinipressure yung estudyante na maging tama kagad sa une. But more of how, as professors, how do we offer multiple opportunities for the person and acknowledge na sa una, magkakamali talaga yan. Then how do we design our activities? Paano tayo gagawa ng learning activities na alalayan natin yung estudyante hanggang pagdating sa finals, pagka dapat na talagang graden yung gawa ng bata. Nagkamali na siya na maraming beses so alam niya na yung dapat iwasan. So siguro yun yung mindset. Instead of prioritizing perfection or correctness right away, you promote that sense of iteration. Paulit-ulit, trial and error. Tapos magtsatsaga yung teacher na i-correct hanggat makuha na nila ng tama. Kasi pag hindi, we're just breeding people who talk loud but are not really thinking or will be afraid to speak up because they don't want to be perceived as wrong. So dapat alalayan natin sila na mag-isip. Okay na magkamali pero tulungan natin sila mag-isip siya bumangon pagka uma-action na sila.
Okay. Partner?
Oh, yes, si Sir Boris naman, no, in the corporate setup.
Yan,
no? Now that you're talking with the matured people, hindi ko na sabihin this generation, no, dahil iba't iba, alam ko sa corporate, iba't ibang age yan How can we, sir, as you as an educator for this level of people, how can we encourage them to be more socially responsible in using social media?
Actually, I think we are manifesting yung sinasabi ni Patch kanina. Kasi I mean, my specialization is on leadership. So I conduct leadership development, mentoring, coaching in the corporate, in the marketplace. So sinabi namin na the foundations of leadership should include cognitive skills, yung thinking. Kasi yun yata yung napabayaan. So parang Ken Blanchard actually said, we should teach a lot of the things that we're teaching in leadership workshops, common sense. Unfortunately, hindi siya common. So we have to remind people, retrain people, retool people. How do we become critical thinkers, problem solvers, decision makers, very efficient and effective decision makers. And yun siya sabi ni Patch, as educators, kailangan natin turuan yung mga bata and maski matanda, paano mag-isip? Not just comply, not just blindly follow, not just do things because we're creatures of habits and nakasanayan mo na yon. We should challenge the status quo, the whatever set standard or expectations. Kailangan mag-isip tayo. And the thing is, nauna minsan kasi talaga yung emotion di ba? Parang yung bumabalik tayo doon. So, ang nakakatuwa lang sa neuroscience, yung prefrontal cortex natin yung emotion center natin, yung amygdala nandito. Kaya pag masyado kang ma-react, masakit yung batok mo
Oo nga. Oo.
pero ang galing ni God, nilikha niya na nauna ito. So pag may issue, gamitin mo muna to.
Yes.
Kung masyado mag-react. So we need to retrain lang people to remind them that we have the ability to pause and actually process things. And when you do that, it's going to be better for you in your leadership, in your community, in your relationships for that matter. Diba? Just imagine gaano kadaming conflict yung nagsisimula sa pamilya, sa mag-asawa, sa magkakamag-anak dahil masyado tayong ma-react, masyado tayong emotional, and we don't have conversations anymore. We don't process that, we don't settle things. But when we do that, when we do pause and try to understand where other people are coming from, empathy, then baka ma-minimize yung mga conflicts na yon. And that's what we can also do in social media. We should learn to have conversations. That's why si Facebook, gusto nila yung mga Facebook groups pinapromote nila yon. Kasi gusto nila yung conversation, hindi lang yung nagre-react. They're trying their best naman. They're trying to do their part. So tayo, to be responsible there, I think we should initiate conversations, not just fighting comments. So, gusto ko yung mga mature reactions ng mga iba kong kaibigan kapag meron umaangal or kumakontra sa kanila. They would say something like, pasensya ka na kung nainis ka doon sa post ko, pero yun ang nararamdaman ko. Ito talaga yung rason kung bakit. Ngayon, kung gusto mo makipag-usap, okay ako, i-PM mo lang ako. So may ganong and of course, medyo matrabaho yun, medyo emotionally draining din yun.
Yeah.
But if you really seriously would like to make an impact, one person at a time, ganun yun That's how it works
Yes, that's very true. Ito po yung last question ko, actually very important for people to hear this, now that we are going to have our new set of government officials. Yes, si Sir Boris muna. How can we help the new government para makamit natin yung better Philippines na hinahangad ng bawat Pilipino?
Alright, babuelo muna ako paano ko sasagutin yan. It's like preaching to the
It's
choir.
universe question.
Yes.
Alright, wala akong Catriona Gray answer to that. I wish I had. Kalapit here. Pero
Pang Miss Universe ba?
can I just sakyan ko yung sinasabi kong empathy. I think we should allow ourselves and other people to actually parang take it all in. And lately na uso yung di ba, the stages of grief. So,
Oo, totoo yun. Totoo yun.
Biglang ang daming natuto ng stages of grief. Kasi kailangan naman talaga. And that's where you respond, pause, understand, and respond to other people. Hayaan mo muna sila. Ganun talaga. I mean, be respectful then on how people are reacting. If people are celebrating, be respectful of that as well. I think respect is a key word right now.
Yes.
Another differentiation of humans from the animal kingdom. We get to respect one another. Hindi lang tayo may ability to think and respond. And we get to respect one another. We don't treat others less than who we are. So dapat ganun din yung pag-ano natin, pagtrato natin sa kapwa natin. And maybe over time, parang as we do that, so regardless of our political inclinations, nagkakaisa rin naman tayo despite of our religious differences, di ba? Despite of our social classes. I mean, if we can unite that way, or we can rally behind a particular cause, I'm sure we could do so pa rin, regardless of whoever is leading us, because we still have one country, we still have one isa lang yung ating lahi, and we need to find a way to help one another. We do our part, each and every one of us, whether as an educator like si Patch, as a corporate trainer like myself, or as media practitioners. We just have to believe in the best and really try to pursue positive messages all the time, be respectful, empathize, and choose to serve others despite of whatever inclinations they may have. Because at the end of the day, tayo lang magtutulungan, di ba?
Tama po, tama po.
Right. Tumas palihim po din.
Galing.
Goosebumps.
Pang Miss Universe.
Oo. Thank you, Sir Boris. How about you, Patch?
I would like to build on what Sir Boris mentioned. Tapos yung naalala ko kasi sa empathy, di ba pagka tingin natin sa Filipino, yung psikolohiya natin na lagi tayong nakikipagkapwa-tao, tsaka yung bayanihan. I think yun yung dalawang minsan na wawala pagka election season. For some reason, nagiging sabungan yung election season. Sana bumalik tayo dun sa dun sa prinsipyo na yun, or at least sa values na yun bilang Pilipino, na magaling tayo makipagkapwa-tao, magaling tayo sa bayanihan. Di ba pag kami mga dayo, may mga bumibisita sa atin, hangang-hanga sila sa hospitality natin. So I like to believe that it's something natural to us being Filipino. So why do we tone it down when it comes to election season? So yun siguro yung yung dalawang values or principles I want to cite first. Tapos siguro two perspectives. Tama rin si Sir Boris na at the end of the day, Filipino tayo . So una muna, para suportahan natin yung mga nanalo, hindi dapat we should go beyond the colors, or at least the personalities behind it, and ano ba yung mensahe nila, saka ano ba yung vision nila for the country. So it's a matter of understanding their strategies, their plans, their details, and kung sinabi nila na meron silang gustong habulin na vision, ang role ng majority maybe is to support it kasi kaya nga binoto sila . Pero ang role naman ng minority is to ensure na hindi nababaliko, na kung ano yung sinasabi talaga. And the minority should be a vocal minority na calling out kung may mali, not to engage in bardagulan, nagkamali ka, ganyan, pinangako mo yan, hindi mo ginawa, ganyan. But more of the spirit is yung bayanihan, na tulungan natin yung mga nanalo, na kung ano yung sinabi nila na hahabulin, tutulungan natin sila. And second perspective is, ito Jojo, alam natin ito kasi we've been volunteering for the past years din, na the government cannot do everything.
Yeah.
So we need to look at multiple sectors. Kailangan maging talaga siya parang ecosystem in a sense, na iba't ibang sector, corporate, academe, non-profit, civil society, and so many sectors. Ano yung mga void? Ano yung mga, dahil siyempre may mga priority yung magiging gobyerno natin, kailangan handa na tayo sumalo na ito yung malamang na medyo maniniglect kasi yung funds limited lang, assuming na ginagasta ng tama. Pero let's assume that na ginagasta ng tama, may mga espasyo, white spaces or voids that we need to mind, and in the spirit of social entrepreneurship, volunteerism, or sustainability thinking, paano natin masasalo yun? So pagka tinignan natin siya ng ganung perspective, parang di ba ang gandang isipin na yung bayanihan natin nag-evolve, na yung dating sabay-sabay nagbubuhat ng bahay literally, ngayon alam natin kung ano yung gagawin ng gobyerno, alam natin kung saan baka kapusin. So doon tayo, kung minority ka, doon ka papasok, pero kung majority ka and you support the platforms, and then you help the government do what they have to do. So going back to the principle yung sinabi rin ni Sir Boris na empathy, kapag sinatotoo natin yung pakikipagkapwa-tao sa kabayanihan, malamang mauunlad naman tayo pero hindi siya madali. Yun yung una natin siguro isipin din, na we keep on saying so many things regardless of camps, di ba, may different messages, pero lahat naman yan babalik dun sa pagiging Pilipino pero hindi siya madali. Kaya kailangan mag-mature na rin siguro tayo as people. Siguro for the youth, we're expecting much more from the youth na ilang beses na sinabi ni Rizal, di ba? Ang kabataan na bagasa ng bayan. Many more generations would come, but hopefully that cycle, that generational cycle na producing optimistic people where we place our hopes in, hopefully mas maging maganda na talaga yung bansa natin.
Yes, yes. We're looking forward to that. Naku, sarap ng ating usapan. Parang may masarap pang makape sa gitna, ano? But anyway, Sir Patch, Sir Boris, napakaiksi ng ating oras at pagkakataon at ulitin-ulitin ni partner Jojo next time. Sir Boris, Sir Patch, may gusto po kayong i-promote, ibahagi sa amin na pwede ho namin i-follow at yung mga nakikinig, nanonood na hindi ho dito nagtatapos yung ating pag-uusap at magandang pagbabahagi. Saan po namin kayo pwedeng sundan at mga programa po ninyo? Sir Patch mo na po.
Ayun po, siguro ano na lang, pwede ko ibigay yung aking email address. Siguro kung may mga nakikinig tapos gustong mag-isip ng mga collaborations, how the academy and even different sectors could collaborate towards citizenship, and kasi yung linya ko talaga mas management and organization and business in general sa academy. And we're also framing our profession as a vocation in a sense na dapat may social well-being, ecological well-being, even spiritual well-being. So dun sa mga nakikiisa siguro sa ganun layunin na hindi lang basta negosyo ang business. Talaga meron siyang iba't ibang paraan para ma-achieve yung flourishing ng society natin. Sabihin ko na siguro email ko. My email is patrick.aure@dlsu.edu.ph. Tapos I can link it to my colleagues and my networks if you want to collaborate for more authentic citizenship and business-oriented activities. Maraming salamat po.
Salamat po. Sir Boris.
Alright, Jenny, Jojo, maraming salamat. I really enjoyed our time together. And Patch, I've gained so much insight. Sa mga kababayan natin, kung gusto po ninyong tunghayan yung mga programa ko po, meron akong isang live stream show na pangalan ay Breakthrough with Boris Joaquin. Hindi ko nababanggitin yung media outlet, pero just pag sinearch nyo naman, lalabas naman siya. So it live streams on their Facebook pages and YouTube channel. And it's also a podcast. So pag search nyo rin, it's in Spotify. So it's Breakthrough with Boris Joaquin. And you may follow me on Facebook, Boris Joaquin din, and LinkedIn. Pero particularly Instagram, sabi kasi ng mga anak ko, kawawa daw yun, walang nagpa-follow. We were actually giving away a free ebook entitled Project Purpose, Find Your Why to Find Your Way. So pag nag-follow kayo, just tell me that you've listened to this show sa DCXL, and we'll give you the link where you can download the book.
Wow, that's great, that's great. Maraming salamat, partner.
Thank you so much, Sir Boris and Sir Patch. Sir Boris, we will follow you on Instagram. Di ba, Patch? Kasi yung mga kabataan on Instagram So we'll follow you on Instagram for sure. Thank you so much, Sir Boris and Patch, for the time that you've given and the insights. We've learned so much from you guys. Salamat po.
Thank you po. Ayan, at partner, at tayo na naman ng isang oras na ating programa. Meron ka munang gusto i-announce, partner, before tayo magpaalam? Go ahead.
Yes, on next week, we're still gonna talk about media and how we can use media and social media to create social impact. And malapit na ang June. June is gonna be the media month of BCYF. We'll be announcing the activities next week. We're gonna prepare for that para po may follow nyo at mapuntahan nyo yung mga events na aming ihahanda para sa inyo.
Ayan, isang makabuluhan. At sundan nilang inyong Facebook page, BCYF.
Yes, you can follow BCYF at BCY Foundation, yung Facebook page. And then we're creating another YouTube channel, BCYF TV, where you can see all the events. And soon, maglalabas din siguro ng mga Instagram and all that para din maka-cope up kami dun sa ng social media.
Oo, para daw tayo sa generation ngayon, partner, no? Diba?
So, thank you so much po sa lahat na nakikinig. I-follow at i-share nyo po ang live stream na ito para po mas marami po ang makapanood at matuto sa ating mga discussion every Saturday.
And congratulations, partner. Ang gagaling ng mga guest mo for the past few weeks na natataon sa mga usapin ngayon. Natututo rin ako. Salamat din sa iyo at sa BCYF at sa RMN, of course, ang ating istasyon. At partner, paalam tayo. Maraming salamat.
Yes, once again, thank you so much for listening and for joining us this Saturday. Abangan niyo po muli kami sa susunod na Sabado. Muli, from BCYF, ako po si Jojo Armenta.
At mula naman po sa RMN DZXL 558 Manila, ako po si Radyo Jenny Pahilanga. Maraming salamat hanggang sa susunod na Sabado. Dito lamang po sa DZXL, alas 10 hanggang alas 11 ng umaga. Muli po tayong magkita-kita at magkasama-sama dito lamang sa programang
Kwentong Bayani.
Bayani.